Welcome to the blerd 365 channel. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share the channel, brother blerd from the Midwest. Ooh. Welcome back, Legends community. It is blerd 365, and I'm finally back, guys. I know you guys missed me, but today I am back with an official story time on actually something I've never done on my channel before. So, story time using Hidive for the first time and the second time. So, actually, the first time me using Hidive actually takes place about 5 or 6 years ago. At the time, I was looking up something on my phone, the Google Play Store, and it was Crunchyroll. Then suddenly there's another app on the actual phone that is called Hidive. And Hidive, I guess you could say, was something that actually popped up that recommended this. Hey, look, if you like this app, you should check out this app. So I installed Hidive actually on my phone. And then once the app is fully installed on my phone, I actually go to the app. And once I get to the app, it wants you to create your email. It wants your email and also your password. Once I log into Hidive, I said, oh, this reminds me of Crunchyroll in some ways. So I had Hidive for the first week. It was a decent experience, all right? There were like 3 shows I had that I watched and everything. And then let's get to week 2 with Hidive for the first time. The second week was a little harder to actually understand Hidive. All right, so Hidive, I was watching shows, and then, sometimes you have to pause the show because you got things you got going on. And I paused the show, and it would buffer. It would never go into the next part of the episode. That was a big problem I was seeing with some of the shows I also picked up right along with the shows I was watching on there. And then the other problem is if you stop the show, it would go back to the beginning part of the episode. It was very frustrating. You know what I'm saying? I was thinking like, oh, because people was telling me that Hidive was the next Crunchyroll. That's mad cap. That's mad cap, yo. So then week 3, me using Hidive, I noticed that there were certain shows that I started to pick up after watching other shows where they actually were episode locked. So you would have a show that you were watching and certain episodes were locked, meaning that you would not be able to watch them due to me having the free trial. Hidive for me, this is when I decided for myself towards the end of the 3rd week, going into the 4th week, that this app is pretty useless. This is not what people were telling me it was going to be. On top of that, this buffering issue, playback issue, restarting the episode, I honestly did not like the actual interface on where this was going. So I said, you know what? It's time for me to uninstall the app because it's not getting used like that anyway. Because be honest with you guys, I was using Crunchyroll more than I was using Hidive. I was like, all right, it's time to uninstall this. So now let's talk about the second time. This second time is recently, 2025, all right? So when I used Hidive for the second time, started last week, I decided to say, you know what? I gave Crunchyroll another chance as a streaming platform to watch anime, movies, and TV shows. Why not give Hidive another chance? So I go back to the Google Play Store, install it on my phone. Once I install it completely on my phone, it asks for my email and my actual email password for my Gmail, and then I get into it. I did notice there were some changes with Hidive, but it wasn't a lot. It wasn't like it was before. So once I get into Hidive, I noticed something. I'm like, whoa. Every single show that I was interested in checking out, even one of the shows that's Isekai, anime show that I watched, I'm like behind on because they had season 5 on there. That was locked. Other shows were locked. I was like, well, dang, Hidive has gotten greedy. So now what it is with Hidive, once you have the app, they want you to actually subscribe to their monthly and their yearly plan, which I have no problem with. That's the way they make their money, mozzarella, cheddar, whatever you want to call it. And honestly, I was disappointed. I was very disappointed. I was not expecting that there would be paywalls behind most of the shows that I wanted to actually give it a chance for the second time, whereas with the first time, that was not even the case. I was like, wow. So for me, I was kind of sad by it. I was like, well, I thought at least by now that Hidive would have their act together as a streaming platform, because honestly, this is kind of difficult to get through. I was thinking like I was going to have a better experience than I did the first time, and the second time, that wasn't a great experience either. So I looked at the prices for it and the monthly, yearly. They were about the same in some ways, like a Crunchyroll, how they had that going on. There was no more free trial for people that want to know. There's no longer free trial for Hidive, which kind of sucks. Just to kind of get it under, like, you know, to make sure that things are decent as a subscriber. For me, I think honestly, Hidive needs to be purchased by Sony. I would love for Sony to actually pick up and buy Hidive, because AMC Network is not really doing much with it. I didn't even know they owned it. But this is my experience. It wasn't great again, but this time around, it just made it more difficult to navigate and actually enjoy. But it is the hardest working blerd on YouTube, guys. You tell me in the comments, what was your experience with Hidive as an anime streaming platform? It is the hardest working blerd on YouTube, guys. Thank you so much for commenting and engaging with me, liking because you enjoyed the videos, sharing because you want to share to get out on the YouTube algorithm, and subscribe if you have not subscribed. It is the hardest working blerd on YouTube, guys, and I'm out. Thanks for watching the channel. The blur from the middle of the map, blerd 365.